So really the question, are condo fees just a waste of money, or are they actually saving you tens of thousands of dollars of potential costs? So if you are thinking about buying a condo or even avoiding one because of these fees, well, this video really is going to probably completely change at just how to look at the condo fees. Now, the biggest mistake actually buyers make is comparing condo fees to nothing. And buyers will say, I hate having to pay HOA fees. And the reality is you pay similar fees on a house as you would be paying for on a condo. So today I will break down the HOA fee coverage, and if you stick around to the end, I will actually cover what to look for in the HOA financials that will either tell you an HOA is healthy or a red flag for problems. So before I actually get into this, I'm Harold Powell, local real estate agent here serving Ventura and the surrounding communities. And if you want to stay up to date on all things real estate for Ventura and the areas, well, I suggest hitting the subscribe and bell icon to be notified of future content. All right, so let's break down what condo fees actually pay for. And there are really four main categories. Number one is property maintenance. Number two are amenities. Number three is insurance. And number four is reserve funds. So let's start with number one, property maintenance. So most condo HOAs here operate as walls in, meaning that's what the homeowner is responsible for, which is everything inside the walls, and then the HOA takes care of everything outside of that. Now, an HOA maintains typically the structure plus the common system, and the owner ensures everything from the drywall inward. So the list of HOA responsibilities may include things like roof repairs and replacement, pipes inside walls, fences, exterior paint, and landscape, to name a few. While the homeowner's responsibility is to maintain attached fixtures such as faucets, toilets, appliances, lighting, and plumbing fixtures inside the unit. Now, a couple things to differentiate between a condo versus a townhome. Now, while a condo, the HOA covers most of the exterior items, in the townhomes, the shared structure varies, which does create some gray areas. So in either a condo or a townhome, you will need to verify what is the HOA responsibility and what is the homeowner responsibility. And so the question is, well, where's the best place to find that information? Well, the best and most reliable place to find exactly what the HOA maintains is the CCNRs, also known as covenants, conditions, and restrictions. So really, this is your number one source. You can look for the sections like maintenance, responsibilities, common area versus separate interest, exclusive use areas. So this document will clearly spell out who maintains the roof, who is responsible for exterior walls, plumbing, windows, balconies, patios, fences, etc. So my pro tip here is to take the PDF of the CCNRs and drop it into ChatGPT and ask it, what is the responsibility of the HOA and what is the responsibility of the homeowner and what other restrictions apply in this HOA situation. Now, part of this maintenance of the HOA is the day-to-day operations of the property management that actually balances the books, tracks billing and expenses, and pays the vendors for things like landscaping, the maintenance, common trash. So basically everything you'd be doing yourself if you owned a house, but the HOA performs this duty for you. All right, so let's move on to number two, which is amenities. In many condo associations, there are additional perks or amenities that are exclusive to the community that require upkeep, such as pool and spa, as well as heating the pool and spa and the upkeep, clubhouses, park or playground areas, and in some cases you have gated security or RV storage for some. Now, these are all real monthly costs that people forget when comparing a condo versus a house. Next on our category is insurance. So the building carries insurance on the entire structure, whereas a homeowner that owns a single family residence will pay this separately, and insurance can typically run $200 to $250 a month for a house, when it will actually depend on the size of the house and whether it's possibly in a fire zone. So a high fire zone property may actually start closer to $500 a month to insure, whereas part of the HOA fees cover the structure of the building. So if the HOA has a master policy covering structure, the HOA handles the exterior, meaning they will insure for the building structure, the roof, the walls, and the common areas, such as, again, the landscaping pool. Sometimes parts of systems are shared, like plumbing and electrical, and the homeowner is responsible for ensuring everything within the walls themselves, such as the flooring, the cabinets, the countertops, and appliances, as well as finishes and upgrades. So if your kitchen does burn, the HOA does not cover the interior, which is exactly why a homeowner will carry insurance for the interior portion of the condo. Now, since condos and townhomes may have different coverages, it's always best to check the CCNRs under the insurance to understand what it is and what is not covered. All right, moving on to number 4, the reserve fund. Now, this actually may be the most misunderstood portion of the HOA fee. The reserve fund is money set aside for the big ticket items that some HOAs will cover and some HOAs may not, but be sure to ask. So some of the big ticket items that may be covered would be roof replacement, fences, common plumbing, common streets, and parking areas, as well as exterior painting. Now, the purpose of the reserve fund is that it reduces the chances of requiring special assessments. So think of it as a forced savings account so that you don't get hit with a surprise of a substantially large bill. Whereas when you own a home, there is no reserve fund. As a homeowner, if the roof needs replacing, well, you can expect to pay $2,000. And if you have to paint the house, well, you may have to pay $5,000 to $10,000. Fences, maybe $5,000 or more. So when something breaks, you just pay for it as a homeowner. Versus in a condo community, a portion of the HOA fees collected are earmarked for future expenditures. Condos really spread the risk across all of the owners, and the house is put all on the one homeowner. Now, the question is, are there bad condos? Well, absolutely. A couple of red flags are low reserve fund and deferred maintenance. So the question is, what is the metric you should be looking for in the reserve fund? So what you'll need to do is just need to find the percent of the funded reserves. And the basic formula of the percent of funded reserves is equal to the actual reserves divided by the fully funded balance. And what that percent means is, let's say 70 to 100% funded reserve is considered a healthy reserve and very low risk. A 50 to 70% funded reserve is moderate reserve balance you may need to pay attention to. 30 to 50% funded reserve is weak and actually higher risk, meaning that it's more likely to have to increase the HOA fees substantially to get caught up. And below 30% funded reserve, well, that's a red flag. Not only is there a high risk of having to increase HOA fees substantially to get caught up, you'll likely need to have special assessments to cover big ticket items. This situation also may mean there is poor property management. So this is why reviewing financial documents is important. Really, are condo fees a scam? No, but mismanagement does feel like a scam. So the truth about well-run HOAs is that condo fees really are a trade-off. You're paying for predictability, maintenance, and landscape, and long-term building value. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and what to look for and how to understand condo fees. And if so, give it a thumbs up. Thanks.